Hey everyone, thanks for coming out again, which I say all the time. As many of you know, I have been dating Marjorie Taylor Greene. If you haven't seen the original video, little lecture, you're welcome to see it. I'll try to add it. I don't know how to do this YouTube thing. But it has been a great relationship. In fact, look at, I've got hickeys from her. So amazing relationship, but she's a little demanding, but very intelligent. A lot of people don't know this, but she's very intelligent. And she's going to help us understand control and experiment groups, just so you understand what's going on. So as you know, she's very tough. Look at her, very strong, probably the next president of the United States. I will be the first male, what do you call the person married to the president? But anyways, the point is, I will be the first lady. There you go. So she's very demanding, and she said she was going to dump me unless I got the gray out. So you're getting a little older, you get a little gray, right? So she told me I had to buy something. So I bought this just for men, get the gray out shampoo. It is great. She said it's going to make me more of a man. The only unfortunate side effects are impotency and hair loss. So that's not good. But anyways, the point is, what does this have to do with research methods, statistics, and other classes I teach? Well, how do you know something like that works? You don't. You actually have to do experiments on it. And that's what makes the social sciences, to a certain degree, a science. So think about it. You have this just for men, right? Let's say I use it, and look at how beautiful my hair is. But how do I know that's not by chance events? How do I know for a fact that that product worked? And this will go, and I'm going to apply it to all the social sciences, medicine, etc. You don't know, right? Maybe I was getting gray because I was dating her. But then, she helped me so much, I lost my gray hair, right? Who knows if this product works? So this is what you do when you want to know if something works. This could be anxiety medicine, the COVID vaccination, just a broad range of things. This could be political commercials, which if you take some of my classes, you're going to see there's an experimenting control group, right? Like the Wellstone commercial, which I show in my classes, which I want you to see, is basically like an experiment and control group. You don't like Paul Wellstone, you see the commercial. Does that make you like Paul Wellstone, Mike Dukakis, Donald Trump, etc.? You analyze speeches, you analyze political commercials, etc. This is what makes political science, to a certain degree, a science, right? It's not just journalistic, what's going on in Syria, etc. So what we would do is we would break up into two groups. You have a bunch of men, right? Very strong men who are dating people like her and what's her name? Bobbert from Colorado and all these people. And you would put them in two groups, right? They all have gray hair, a level of gray hair. So you put them in the groups and you differentiate them. Let's say you've got 100 in one group and 100 in another. The control group, right, gets nothing. They stay the same. They use regular shampoo. But you don't tell them it's regular shampoo. Everyone uses a bottle of this, so they think they're doing the same thing. Or a bottle of regular shampoo, but you put this in it. For the other 100, which is the experiment group that receives the stimulus, the variable. So after, say, a month, you come back and you measure it. So you would have first, at the beginning of this experiment, you would have 200 men who are graying, right? About the same level of gray, right? You break them up randomly into two groups. One is the control group. They get regular shampoo. The other is the experimental group. They get the variable, which is, in this case, the shampoo. They come back a month later, right? And then you remeasure the hair color. Did this shampoo work to get the gray out? And those will be your results. So the independent variable is this, right? And the dependent variable is your hair. And you're going to see some stuff on ANOVA that I use in our studio, weight loss, anxiety. There's just so much medicine that people use. So you do the same thing with, say, the COVID, right? You take a group of 200 people, and they actually did something like this, I heard in Germany, where they gave half the people a vaccination, the other half not, and then just sent them out to like some concert or something to come back to see if the people who got the vaccination either didn't get COVID or COVID symptoms were less compared to the control group that didn't get the vaccination. That, in a nutshell, is control and experimental groups. In political science, we might do it in, just to give one example, although there's others, to campaigning. It's very popular in the more Americanist literature. So let's say, for example, Donald Trump runs again, and he creates, commercials. You'd put a bunch of people sitting on the fence, independents, and half of them would see the commercial and other half would not see the commercial. Then you would get them together after and measure whether they like Trump or not, or whoever runs. I can't believe if Sleepy Joe runs. I mean, that guy's like 80, but so is Trump. I mean, this is becoming a gerontologist or whatever you call it. Genealogist. Gerontology for old people. But the thing is, I'm thinking of running because I'm very young with my new hair. So that is what control and experiment groups are. A lot of people, these classes from, research methods, empirical, increased statistics, are difficult to teach because in political science, you're used to just debating. Do you agree or not agree about abortion, right? Do you agree or not? That is a woman's right to choose. Do you agree or don't agree with the death penalty, the legalize of prostitution, whether we should have withdrawn from Afghanistan or not? Those are all important questions. But these classes, statistics, research methods, empirical inquiry, etc., they're very important because you're trying to be more scientific. Right? So that's one way to do it. You have control groups, experiment groups. The control group does not get the stimulus. The experiment does. In this case, the shampoo to get the gray out. And then you look at the results and you measure them however. So like in the case of a commercial, for a politician, you show the people the commercial, right? Half the people not, and see if that changes your opinion about the candidate. And I do some activities like that in my classes that I think are very clever because they're very important to do these commercials, persuade people, right? You saw it with a while back, Trump's speech about draining the swamp. He didn't write that, someone else did. And it ended up being very popular. So, you could break that down into, experiment and control groups. People see the speech. Does that make you like or dislike Trump more? So that's what you're basically doing in these experiment groups and control groups. And they do it with medicine. Let's say you have a group of people who are somewhat depressed. Does this medicine work? Right? You don't know because there's so many other interacting variables, what we might call confounding variables, that you need to basically set up these control and experiment groups. So I hope that kind of clears up with a little humor with my good wife here who gives me hickeys all the time. Marjorie Taylor Greene, kind of the idea of what control groups and experiment groups are. And then statistically, I do it on R Studio. I say R Studio because R is the statistical package, the environment, and R Studio is the more user-friendly interface that's becoming very, very popular and outpacing Stata, SPSS, and the others. So I hope you kind of understand what these are. You use a little humor in it to not make it so dry. With my honey back there, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she did get divorced and she started texting me, and they basically were saying things like, as if you saw the other one, let me take a look here. The academic world is full of liberal cucks, very wimpy, except for you, who's very alpha male. So that's it. And she really helps us with experiment control groups. How do we know if something's working? It can be a political commercial. It can be medicine, a vaccination for COVID, the flu, or even getting the gray out of your hair, which, as you can see, my hair is very beautiful, much more beautiful than the President Crow, who I think he dyes his hair. But we'll talk about that another time. But take care, everybody. And, If you have any questions, shoot me an email or community forum.